Welcome, everyone to Three Up and Three Down, where tonight we will take on Saturday's DraftKings college football main slate, which begins at 12 o'clock. For those of you unfamiliar to the channel, I'm Sweet Lou, and I'm going to give you three my three up players who I think you should pay up for, even though they're priced pretty high, and three down players that I think are undervalued or underpriced and should hit value in this week's contest. A little bit of a recap from last week. Fair week. We did have one dud. Tobias Merriweather, the California wide receiver, did not meet value. And, that's going to happen from time to time. And with one of the down players, you can get by with that and still come out profitable. I was fortunate. I came out with a little bit of a profit last week, but a lot of that was luck as well. What really hurt was one of my three up players, Isaac Brown, the running back for Louisville, left the game after just two carries with an injury. And it's really tough to overcome something like that. Like I said, I was lucky with some of my other picks, and a little profit is better than a little loss or a big loss. Now, for this week, running backs, I believe you are going to have to pay up for. If you've been with me in the past, I try to look for injuries first and foremost to see if there are any bargains out there. And obviously, Brooks is the first person I looked at. There is a very good chance he is not going to play this week. And I have some concerns about that. Duke Watson came in last week and ran 11 times for 117 yards. He's a good player, but what concerns me more than that are two things. Number one, they're playing a pretty good Wake Forest run defense, so that concerns me a little bit. And number two, Maurice Turner is another running back. He hasn't played since week two. He was a very highly touted recruit. Well, now he is able to play the rest of the year while still being redshirted. Now, if you believe Watson is indeed going to be the number one running back this year, then he's worth a look at. But he's not that cheap. He's also 6,000, so I'm gonna look elsewhere. The other major injury, and he missed the game last week as well, is Harry Parrish Jr., the running back from Mississippi. My concern here is similar to the Louisville game, even though it's a better matchup for Mississippi running backs, is who's going to carry the ball. Last week, you had Ulysses Bentley the fourth with 13 carries, Dominic Thomas with 9, and I would be okay if it was just that. But Matt Jones is their number two running back on the depth chart, and he has been out since week 6, and he may return this week. If you have a feeling about that, then you may want to go that way. But personally, I'm probably going to punt the Mississippi running backs and look elsewhere. Again, I do think this is a week where running backs are going to be tough to get a bargain on, so you're going to probably have to pay up for them. And now we're going to start off with our three up players that I think are priced higher, but I think you should definitely pay up for because they're going to hit value. And number one is going to be quarterback Cam Ward of Miami. Miami is playing Wake Forest, and he is the highest priced player in this contest at 10,500. And I also think he's very well worth it. Miami's had a week off since its first loss of the season and plenty of time to prepare against the 128th ranked pass defense in the country. Ward is a stud, probably the best quarterback in the country stat wise this year. He has passed for over 300 yards in 9 of 10 games and over 400 3 times. Next on our three up section, we're going to go back to the well, probably the most used player in this corner, and that's going to be running back Tash Brooks of Texas Tech. Texas Tech is playing Oklahoma State, and Brooks is 8,900. As I said, he's our go-to guy in this corner almost every week. And why not? All he's done is rush for over 100 yards in every game this year. His lowest fantasy point total, 17 points. This game has the highest implied total of any of the 12 games on the slate. How can you afford not to start him in a high-scoring game against the worst run defense on the board? And finally, on the three upside, we're going to go with wide receiver Brennan Presley of Oklahoma State, staying right in that same contest. Presley is 7,200. He has steadily improved each season and has worked himself into someone that's likely going to play on Sundays. He will leave Oklahoma State as its all time reception leader. In the last three games alone, he has 30 catches. That's pretty good stuff considering the Cowboys are having an awful season and their quarterback play has been subpar. Texas Tech has the worst pass defense in this contest, and again, it has the highest implied total. Now we're going to go to our three down section. Players that are a little bit lower priced that I think will hit value. And we are going to start off with wide receiver Jordan Tyson of Arizona State. Arizona State plays BYU, and Tyson is 6,500. I know 6,500 is not terribly cheap, but there are 12 other receivers priced higher than Tyson. He is clearly the Sun Devils' number one, and it's not even close. Teams have tried double teaming him all year, perhaps not more than Kansas State last week, which double teamed him 61% of the time. All he did was finish with 12 catches for 176 yards and 2 scores. Next in the three down section is going to be the tight end wide receiver Kamari Morales of Boston College at 4,000. Boston College plays North Carolina this week. I'm standing right now. This is risky. It is strictly a gut pick for me. Morales has been a steady, although unspectacular piece of Bill O'Brien's offense. O'Brien has always been a coach who likes to get his tight ends involved. And what kind of threw me this way was the forecast calls for a very good chance of rain and winds gusting to 30 miles per hour. Normally, in conditions like that, I look to running backs, but both defenses are solid against the run. My next look is at tight ends, as some of the longer passes may not be available, and thus the Morales choice. And finally, on the three down section, it's going to be quarterback Jalen Daniels of Kansas at 6,900. The Jayhawks play Colorado this week. This game has the potential to be a shootout. If you've been on this channel often, you know I love dual threat quarterbacks in college football DFS. That's part of the reason I went with Garrett Green for the second week in a row last week. He paid off. Daniels has at least 10 rushes in the last 3 games and has scored a rushing touchdown in 4 of the last 5. I also do like Green this week, but I didn't want to give you 3 quarterbacks. If you choose Green instead of Cam Ward, so if you go Green and Daniels, that's going to give you 2,700 more to spend elsewhere. And that's always an option. Once again, recapping our 3 up and 3 down for today. Our 3 up players: quarterback Cam Ward, 10,500. Running back Taj Brooks, 8,900. Wide receiver Brennan Presley, 7,200. Our 3 down players: wide receiver Jordan Tyson, 6,500. Tight end Kamari Morales at 4,000. Quarterback Jalen Daniels at 6,900. I hope you guys win a lot of money this week. Our picks have done extremely well this year. And if you're enjoying the channel, if you're making some money, please hit like, hit subscribe, leave me a comment. If you have any lineup questions before 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, let's go to 11:15. Just send me a comment. Tell me you subscribed, and I will answer any lineup questions you have. The last 45 minutes I like to take to make sure that every player that I have is playing. There's no severe weather change and so on. So for now, this is Sweet Lou signing off. I wish you luck and win lots of money.